Come on down, you're the next contestant on Prices. Oh, fuck it. This isn't even worth the usual intro because this particular episode was a mess and a half times 10. I'm John Martin with my review of WWE NXT 2.0. Because they decided to have Steiner take a leap of faith if he wants to survive. Leap of faith, and then he fell in his Steiner eyes. What the fuck was that ending? That was one of the worst endings since the NXT 2.0 revamp. Whew. So anyway, video package of last week's Tag Team Gauntlet, where the Pretty Deadly Blades of Glory guys won the Tag Team Championships, and also Joe Wayne Gacy taking over the goddamn thing. I don't know why Joe Wayne Gacy is a thing. It's something against the talent himself, but the character's stupid. We have no reason to really buy into the character. It's just ridiculous. Like a lot of characters and a lot of gimmicks in NXT 2.0. I think Shawn Michaels' lazy eye is booking this goddamn thing, and Bruce Pritchard's over-tanned hide has decided to book the second half. I can't come up with any other explanation about why this show can do a really good goddamn match and then undercut it by going to really goddamn goofy shit, or take a particular debut on NXT, even though that particular talent did wrestle on NXT Level Up, and basically wreck it by having the worst gimmick the WWE has put out in a while on their television screen. Yeah, can you tell I really didn't like this episode? And I hate it because I want to like more of the stuff in NXT 2.0 because there's some good stuff, but they just undercut it with so much goofiness and stupidity and unnecessary convoluted bullshit. Remember when NXT was like a pretty good wrestling show from week to week to week? It didn't always go from strength to strength to strength, but it had some good stuff. I know I've said this in the past, but god damn it. If they're not going to learn, then they're just going to keep having to hear it. And unfortunately, I'm not the only person that feels this way. I would love to know your thoughts on NXT 2.0 in the comments because am I on an island? Am I going to be on it until I rot? Am I going to have to make a volleyball friend and then lose him when I float out on a raft? Okay, these song references aren't working. Let's get to the review. Blades of Deadly Glory show up. I know that Pretty Deadly is a team that people like. They are good workers. This gimmick is terrible. I'm sorry. It's too cartoonish. It's too ridiculous. I don't care. I'm sorry. I know there are people that like it, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that these guys don't have talent, but it's all about the presentation. Gibson and Drake show up. They're no longer the grizzled hung veterans, or maybe they are and they just forgot to say it. They're not Zach Gibson and James Drake. They're Gibson and Drake. They sound like some kind of buddy cop drama from the UK. Legoland then show up and we have a brawl and they just all fight off. And then Steiner shows up, goes through the meager crowd that there is. I mean, there's only like 500 people there anyway, and calls out Joe Wayne Gacy. Steiner says he will take him out for what he did to his dad. Then Joe Wayne Gacy takes over, having his own Videodrome thing. He's hacked the screen. He controls the horizontal and the vertical. And these are the outer Gacy limits. And then we have Tiffany Strattonstone show up, and we go to break. This all happened within 9 minutes of the show going on the air. And this is after about 2 to 2.5 minutes of recaps. That was all sandwiched into about 6 minutes. It's good use of television right there. It's really fucking bullshit. So, then we cut to a digital exclusive. Escobar calls out Hayes. Hayes and Tricky Ticky Williams say that Santos is next. Okay, there's a match to look forward to. What I didn't look forward to was Tiffany Strattonstone against Sailor Ray Moon. Seriously? It's not even whether they can wrestle or not. These are two stupid gimmicks. As if I care. Strattonstone won. Steiner is searching for Joe Wayne Gacy, and then there's that dog cage that Rick Steiner was locked in, and Steiner goes in there. I half expect him to comically shut the door and have all this music. No, I'm locked in here. Da-da-da-da-da-da. And then Acme Anvil would fall on somebody. Hopefully whoever decided to put this show together. So then, the Deadly Boys run into Indian Persia. Persia, my fucking goodness. They wanted to have a match. And the Deadly Boys got all excited, but nope, it's against Dookie Nukie Hudson and Dexter Lumis. And then Grayson Waller is upset at a bottle of sangria, or whatever his goddamn name is. Chase and Bodie Gunn show up, or Bodie whatever, as a teachable moment, but then the bottle of sangria shows up throwing shit, and this goes right into a match with Sangria versus Grayson Waller. Fucking hell, somebody save me, please, for the love of God, save me from this. A lot of throws, a post spot, and the roll stunner, wherever the fuck it is, and Grayson Waller wins, because they are insisting on making Grayson Waller a thing, despite the fact that he has the personality of a wet blanket. Basically, him and Austin Theory could team up as Team Charisma Vacuum, and the entire black hole of charisma that they both possess would devour the entire universe. And yet somehow Vince McMahon would still survive. So, Cora is going to kick Natty's ass. She rips the picture that they took together and steps on it. So, Roxy, who's Roxanne Perez, is apparently a gamer, and she became a wrestling fan through gaming. Nothing wrong with that. Play video games all you want, but she's a gamer. There are a lot of gamers in wrestling now. But hey, if you have fun and you can gain money doing Twitch streams and whatever, good for you. Because seriously, it's good to be able to earn that cheddar. I believe the kids still call it that. I don't think anybody's called it that in 50 years. And she, as Roxy, she was somebody that had a bright future, and still does. She was fine in a couple matches I saw in Ring of Honor, and WWE scooped her up. And even if she's just there for 3 or 4 years and leaves, whatever she does or doesn't accomplish, she's going to be, 24 years old? She's got plenty of time ahead. As long as injuries don't bite her, and as long as she doesn't get burned out on wrestling, she's going to be somebody. Whether it's in WWE or elsewhere. She's got a ton of time. So anyway, Toxic Attraction interrupt Roxanne Perez's interview. And I don't know why Gigi decided to use guacamole instead of eyeshadow, but it was certainly a choice. And JC Jane, my goodness, she steals the show anytime she's there. And Gigi, I've met her. I met her in multiple shows when she was Priscilla Kelly. And you know what? I was happy for her getting the spot. I don't know why she's acting all strung out. I hope it's an act. Roxanne debuts tonight, apparently, instead of next week. And then Gibson and Drake lose to Legoland with Elektra, my goodness, and Escobar. A jump start, it doesn't slow down, and Drake gets pinned. Thanks for coming, former Grizzled Hung veterans. You're not soon to be rectimized anymore. And what's next for Wes Lee? I'm just glad they're keeping him. I'm really glad they're keeping him. They made it seem like Nash Carter was shot with how they, skirt around mentioning the fact that he's no longer there. To be fair, though, given the picture he posted, even if it was leaked out of spite, maybe don't take those pictures. Maybe don't dress up like that. Also, Kimberly might want to, look in the mirror and realize that there's some modifying to her behavior she needs to do. So, Zion wants to teach him a lesson, and that match is going to come up later. They don't know what to do with Zion Quinn, even though, I'm not saying the guy's going to be a world champion, but he's a big guy, he looks good, and they just have him pick fights randomly with people. So then Hayes with Tricky Ticky Williams took on Santos Escobar. But first we see clips of Fallon Henley, Brooks and Jensen, or whatever the fuck their names are, attacking Legoland, and we're going to get a 6-person tag match next week. Okay. And then we go to this match where a wrestling match broke out. Sure, they did some flippy shit and some acrobatics, but they can both work. Escobar is very good. Hayes is very good. We later got a delayed vertical suplex by Escobar. That was very nice. He hits a tope outside. And then suddenly Elliot Ness and his Untouchables decide to attack Escobar. And then they attack him despite the fact the referee is totally distracted. Like he realized, oh shit, I got to look over here while these two... Seriously, it was like watching the Adjustment Bureau extras. If anybody remembers that movie, I will be shocked, because I don't even think the people that made that movie remember that movie. That movie was shit. Had a great idea, and we got to see Emily Blunt run around, which is always a good thing, but that was not good. But anyway, yeah, Elliot Ness and his Untouchables show up, and Hayes hits his leg drop afterwards, 1, 2, 3. And then Hayes says he will face Grimes in 2 weeks at a show called Spring Break-In. Because they're just giving random shows like these big builds. Like it's supposed to be big deals. Maybe if they cut down on the bullshit, they could actually be big deals and be focused on wrestling and not entertainment. Grimes shows up and Solo does too, and we're going to have a three-way next week. Oh my. Steiner is just wandering around and doesn't even notice the extra creepy and extra cliched elevator music they decided to put up there. And he goes into Gacy's Hall of Mirrors. That, where was this and why is this feud happening? Why has this happened? This is one of the worst feuds that WWE's done this year. And he breaks the mirrors, and they are slowly eroding any of the good shit that Steiner had going for him. It's going to take a bit to... They had to handle him, not necessarily with kid gloves, because he was doing such great, work. And they've been chipping away at it, and they're going to get him in this goofy shit, and it's going to take a while to wash it off of him. And then Bivens is on the phone with Ivy Nile, who's apparently in NXT UK. All right. And Strong, he's not going back. Going back where? You all know. Strong wants to take people out, break people. Okay, good. Whatever. I don't really care about Diamond Mine. Natty took on Tatum Paxley. Tatum tried to, come back and do some moves, and she's not bad. I mean, she's going to need some time, but she's got a good look. Natty, of course, world travel veteran. Wrestled, for a few years before coming to WWE and has literally traveled all over the world and is going to be a mainstay in WWE. She's going to be a coach whenever she decides to hang up her boots. This run in NXT, however long or short it is, will be a benefit to the women's division, and Lord knows that women's division needs a lot of help. She gets a sharpshooter on. Tony D'Angelo gets accused of sending the Elliot Ness and his Untouchables, the Adjustment Bureau goons, after Legoland, or Escobar rather, and he says, I didn't do that. Wait, is this their car? I'll be right back. And Nathan Frazier is coming to NXT 2.0 next week. Okay, whoever that is. I know apparently he's on NXT UK. That's why I didn't know who he was, because I very rarely watch it because I'm busy doing stuff besides watching endless amounts of programming. If I'm not going to watch Dark and Dark Elevation, if I'm cutting out other stuff, sorry, NXT UK, while they have some talent, isn't worth me reviewing. So... Dookie Nukie wants to talk strategy with Loomis, and they do comedy, and it's bad comedy, and I hate it. So, Wesley took on Zion Quinn. Wes got the rug pulled out from under him through no fault of his own. Nash Carter, a.k.a. Nash Carter, was an idiot for posting that picture. So, Wesley took an apron bump, did fire back with some good stuff, but got a hard fisting, and whenever an Australian man is that tall and that thick fist you, you're going to go down. I will be taking no further questions as to why I know that. And there you go, Zion Quinn gets a victory. Natty knocks Cora. Nikita Lyons calls out. Natty says, when I take care of Lash Legend, I want to face you. Oh boy, the amount of curvature and all that stuff, that is going to bomb the timeline right there. Everybody's going to be goddamn insane. And she says about locking her in the sharpshooter, and Nikita says, don't worry, I'm flexible. And everybody on the timeline exploded. In more ways than one. Recap to Wagner tossing Jiro into the crowd. And Sophia points, and Jiro's out for a while with an injury. I think at least, for a number of weeks. I think it said like a month. And Wagner has been suspended. Wagner's been suspended like 3 times since they introduced him. And I do also want to say, as far as Kushida not re-upping with WWE and just leaving when his deal's up, New Japan Strong, appearances in AEW, go back to New Japan and maybe they'll have him face some heavyweights. Have him win the Never Open Weight Championship from Evil, and then he can face some heavyweights and he can do some stuff, and maybe he can be in the place where he probably shouldn't have left in the first place. I get why he did, and he probably made a good amount of money in WWE, but yeah, Kushida was very underutilized in WWE. I didn't expect him to reach, a huge level, but god damn it. Good on him, though. Wherever he goes, he's going to succeed. Roxanne Perez took on JC Jane with Toxic Attraction. JC, my goodness, is what I wrote down. And Roxanne has plenty of potential. And then they cut to Wendy Chu, bringing, on the video screen, rearranging Toxic Attraction's box. Anytime this Wendy Chu gimmick appears on NXT programming, it's embarrassing to professional wrestling. Not the person, the gimmick. It's stupid, it's an abomination, and whoever came up with it deserves to be curb stomped. Like Moxley did to Ospreay. Except for realsies. This ain't entertainment. Fucking goddamn it. I mean, Roxanne won. Good. You ruined the fucking match. Congratulations by putting this atrocity of a gimmick on. After that, I didn't give a shit about this show. And I know, maybe I'm being petty, whatever. There are people who like it. That's fine. There are people who also like to eat paint chips, which is apparently accounting for a lot of people in NXT 2.0 creative. Legoland finds a boot on their car, and there's a snake in our boot. Wait, no, there's a fish on our car. Apparently Gacy has his own security footage area where he's just watching. It's like on a monitor about this goddamn big. It reminds me of certain horror movies that I watched where, the budget was really goddamn low and the acting was about on par with this. No TV entrances for the main event, which is a title match, by the way. Dookie Nukie and Loomis versus the Blades of Deadly Glory. I didn't care one bit. Not that there isn't talent in the ring. They need to reboot the tag team division. Whether Pretty Deadly have talent or not, this tag team division is a goddamn dumpster fire. They win. Cut to Joe Wayne Gacy on the goddamn stage. And here's Steiner. He shows up. And he gives him the ring. And says he wants a title match. So Steiner agrees. But you need to take a leap of faith. And then he pushes him. He falls off the little staging area. And falls down. Obviously, there was a way to shoot this where he landed on something safe. And then they pulled it away. And then there's all these druids that suddenly go over him and everything. No, they're not. I'm not touching him to death. Motherfucker. You have people that can make a good wrestling show. You got Steiner, who honestly is a can't miss rookie, prospect, whatever. You have talent in the women's division and you do shit like this. God forbid, I hope this show gets pulled from the USA Network and it just goes to the cock because this has no business being on cable TV. But we here at Price is Right Wrestling would like to remind you to control the pet population. Have your pet spayed or neutered. Goodbye, everybody.